Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brother Half. We are here to talk all things Marvels Avengers. Ash and I put together a list of things that we would like to see in the game, and there's some of the things we've seen out in the social media world, and some of the things are just the stuff that we've talked about that we want to see. We're going to fire a few back and forward. We're going to give yay and nay on why we do or don't want them. And then we'll see what we come up with and see if any of these make it into the game in the next 3 to 6 months or even a year. Ash, welcome.
G'day, brother. G'day, everyone.
Just something different. Marvels Avengers again. This time we're talking about stuff we want to see.
Yep.
So I'm going to start off, and then we'll take it from there. My first question to you. Is would you like to be able to change characters in the middle of a mission?
That's a good one. I wasn't expecting that question. It's a bit of a curveball. I think it would be handy in some instances, but not always. I think if you're playing solo, it would probably be more appropriate for the fact that there's a lot of these points where you can't open doors unless you're a certain character. You have to smash them as Hulk or Thor, and you have to be, Black Widow or Iron Man to undo certain access points. I think it's annoying when you're playing on your own and you can't do that because you're not using that character. I always thought something by pressing a button on the D-pad, jumping between characters would be handy. I just don't know if that would ever come to be due to the fact that when you start the game, you're getting gear for that specific character.
Yeah.
So if you just change character for 10 minutes throughout a mission or 2 minutes, is the gear going to be different as it drops? Or I don't know how that would work. But if we're just talking hypothetically, would I like to be able to do it? I think it would be handy because there's a lot of times where you sort of do go, I want to play this character now. It'd be nice to just change it up. Most of the time, though, the level's only go for 10 to half an hour. So if you can just stick it out, it's not such a big thing. Single player, yes. Multiplayer, on the fence. It doesn't really need to be there. It's just nice to say that you can do it if you need to. What if
it was in multiplayer? It's the companion that you requested. Like if you were Thor and we were running with your Iron Man, you could switch between Thor and Iron Man, and I could switch between Hulk and Black Widow, for example.
I think it would be fun. Actually, it'd be a cool thing. Look, if they could do it and make it work with the whole gear system, I don't see why. I don't think anyone would disapprove of it. There would be people, but I think it would be handy to have. You might just be waiting on a nice belt with one character as well to drop, and that's all you need. And then when you could just drop mid mission and then sort of go, I just want to jump over to playing my other character because I need to get a whole heap of gear for that character. So just to be able to do it at the drop of a hat, press of a button sort of thing would be really good. But yeah, I wasn't expecting that question. I have brought it up in the past with you though, that I think that sometimes in single player would be handy because I get sick of having to leave loot boxes behind because no one can access where they are. But multiplayer is a completely different thing. Look, I could take it or leave it, to be honest. For me, when I start a mission, I'm solely dedicated to that character. When I want to play Iron Man, I want to play Iron Man. When I play Thor, I just want to play Thor. But yeah, just to break it up a bit could be good. Be good.
I personally, I don't want that introduced because I think it would just change the scope of the game too much, especially if you're running with a high level Hulk, for example, and then you've got your companion is a low level Iron Man. When you switch, do the enemies switch as well to that level and all that kind of stuff?
There's a lot of the mechanics that need to go adjust with it, sort of thing as well. Yeah,
I think what you said about being able to get into the doors and areas that you need to smash if you're not the right companion, you should be able to sort of direct them and initiate that person to do whatever it is they've got to do so you can get that loot. But I don't think I'd want to be able to switch in a mission. I'd prefer to.
Well, there's been talks that I actually read this morning that they are aware that a lot of people are finding it frustrating, I guess, that you can't get into these access areas where there's loot boxes because the character just can't do it.
Mate,
so I don't know.
Captain America can't get in any of them. He can't open
well,
anything.
that's one of the big problems too. Like, why would it sort of takes away from playing the character, because you want to get all the rewards at the end of the day. And if you know that you play as Cap and you're playing solo, for instance, that you're practically going to miss out on half the loot. So once again, we spoke about this in the last video. The devs have listened out, they've heard, and I think at this point they're working on a workaround so as that if you do play solo or even in multiplayer, there is going to be a way to access with having another character do it for you. I don't know how exactly they're going to do it, but they do know that a lot of people are saying this is a bit annoying, and they're saying they've come out and said something along the lines of, we're aware of that and we're going to try and find a workaround. So don't know the big details, but they do know, and they are trying to make it a little bit easier for everyone to get access.
Yeah, nice. Fire away.
Now we've got down here that you something along the lines of MCU threads. Do we want to see the same cosmetics from the Marvel Cinematic Universe incorporated into what we call the MGU, Marvel Gaming Universe? They did it with Spider-Man in the last Sony Spider-Man game. They had the skins from the movies as well as some others from the comics and just some cool concepts, I guess. Do we need it? Do we want it? I'll pass the ball, throw the ball back to you. What do you think?
I'm not fussed either way, as long as it doesn't take away from the fact, or it doesn't add to the fact that people are going to be like, oh well, it's not the MCU, it's not the MCU when the MGU is setting up their own thing. It can't hurt. I think that most of the costumes in the game are pretty close to the MCU anyway. I'd personally rather see more of the comic book costumes and the more extravagant ones as well. Like, I want to see.
I'd have to agree.
I want to see the ridiculous ones on Hawkeye when he comes in. You know, I want that big bright purple outfit and all that kind of stuff. I'd prefer to see. Look, it can't hurt. I mean, I would love to see Fat Thor. I reckon that would be fantastic, and that would be brilliant from the MCU. And even with the that look that he gets in Endgame, where he looks like the Viking at the end.
When he turns like Thunder God Thor, when he's got
that looks mad.
When with the eyes that glow.
But that's all.
It sort of is in this game. These eyes do glow, but
it's all pulled from the comics anyway. So I'd rather see more extravagant costumes from the comics than the MCU threads. But yeah, take it or leave it.
Well, I'm sort of on the fence there too. I think that some MCU costumes are really cool. I like to see, like, for instance, we said Fat Thor. I think Ragnarok Thor is really cool as well. The whole when he's versing Hulk in the arena, how he's got sort of the Thor helmet on, but it's sort of those the pointed sort of pointy elvish ears sort of looking helmet. Stuff like that would be cool. However, at the same time, yeah, I would much rather probably see the original Iron Man from the comics, like from the early days when he's almost looks like a guy wearing a Lycra outfit sort of thing. The old school, the lines. The only way you could sort of understand that it's made of metal is just because they draw a couple of lines around the sleeves to sort of give it that, like, oh, it's metal. It's not. It's not silk. It's cool to have them in there, and I think a lot of people would want them in there, especially kids that. Yeah. Maybe younger kids. We've grown up with the comics, and I mean, they've been around long before we were even around. But kids today that are young and want to play the game and they want to sort of see the MCU versions because that's all they know. It'd be nice for them to have that. It'd be nice for us to have that. But yeah, I think a lot of them, like I look at Black Widow and I think already she's got a lot of outfits that are very, very similar to
the MCU.
What's already in the MCU. I mean, Hulk wearing a pair of torn jeans, shorts is very MCU anyway. The original Iron Man skin, you get just the gold and red one. I don't know the name of the exact skin, but just the basic stock standard Iron Man is very much, other than maybe some, if you want to go into full minor details, then, it'd need a bit of tweaking to look exactly MCU, but they're all really there. I don't think it's the main thing. I would much rather be on the side of the fence that says comic book. I'd like to see some old, and even just general concept, just your own, what they think would be cool. Like, the Christmas Hulk, there's been, they've dropped
Yeah, that
Christmas
was
Hulk.
leaked. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, just, for Halloween, obviously there'll be Halloween skins for Christmas. It happens in a lot of the games. Overwatch has done it. I mean, all the Blizzard games have done it in the past. That's cool. It's creative. As long as I don't get too stupid with it, I suppose, and start to make really just ridiculous things that sort of make you say, what are you doing to Marvel by doing all this stupid crap? But I mean, everyone's going to have an opinion. Some people are probably going to say Christmas Hulk is a stupid idea as well. But I mean, I see it as just a bit of fun, as long as they don't just go too ridiculous. But whatever they put in at the end of the day is content regardless. So the more of that, the happier I am.
The more we win. Combo counters. Would you like to see a combo counter while you are fighting on the side of the screen? Well, numbers tickle over.
At the moment, we've got the dodge, which we see that big red circular thing on the floor, and if you press circle, if you're on the PlayStation, you dodge out of the way. When you say combo counter,
I'm talking like the actual numbers. So like Batman Arkham Knight and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So as the numbers tick over, so you can see, because a lot of the outfit has, once you get over 16 hits, you do you get a damage buff or a defense buff or whatever. Would you want to see like a little number ticking over on the side?
Not particularly, no, because at this point, all that would really do for me is just stuff up what I'm planning to do.
Just a distraction?
That would just make me angry. It's just I'm trying to do a combo and they broke it. So for me, it would just probably make me end up buying a bunch of TVs because I end up throwing controls to them. But, it could go in there. At the moment, I think they should probably focus more on things like, and you wanted to touch on this in the last video, we're going a little bit out, but in this respect, that at the moment for me, what I want more than that would be for them to fix the combat system that's already there, because you were saying with Black Widow, your grapple hook is just busted at the moment. That doesn't work, and I see you jumping around. It's broken. There's little things that are broken. I'd prefer those things get fixed before combo breakers. I mean, yes, you could put them in. Would it really make much of a difference? Yes, or maybe on a higher level when you're playing on a high difficulty. If they say at the start of the match, this includes combo breakers, that would be a cool little thing. But once again, it does me no benefit. It's just going to make me rage when they break my combos. When you break a combo,
yeah.
So for me, I'm going to say don't need it. I think they should just. And once again, they are working on. There's actually a team that just work with combat in Crystal Dynamics. So they are already saying that they're working on fixes for the combat. So that's a good thing. Do I need combo breakers? Meh, whatever. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. Yeah, what do you think?
I could take it or leave it. But I played all the Arkham games, so I always liked trying to get the combo as high as I could, and I think I play Black Widow as my main, so she's very heavy with the I've got her as a melee build, so it's very based around getting those combos up and dodging and weaving and trying to keep that overcharge as high as possible. So I don't think I need it, but if they do add it, again, it doesn't hurt. Take it or leave it. But if they add it, just somewhere in the menu where you can take it off if you don't want it, because like you said, it can be a distraction. So yeah, take it or leave it.
Yep. I don't know. Look, with that one there, to me, it's take it or leave it. I'm in the same court, I think. What have we got here? Oh, this one, you've been going on about it all week, and I think it's probably a good thing that we do touch on it, is the resource shop at the Anthill and the Helicarrier. You've been going off all week to me, so probably best for you to go through this one. What's your gripe, and what do you think needs fixing there?
Well, the gripe kind of goes with hand in hand with the loading times. I mean, at the moment, we're going to the Anthill for gear and to get our daily missions, and then you've got to go to the helicarrier for the same. But then you got to go to the separate helicarriers to also get resources and manage your resources that you can buy from the two different vendors. I don't want them to create something where it gives you no reason to go to the Anthill or go to these different outposts, because you always want to be traveling to those areas. But I think a resource shop, like one main resource shop at each of the areas, so you can stop in there and resource manage, essentially is pretty big, because it's a pain in the ass going from your fragments. you can buy cubes with fragments, and you can buy fragments with cubes, but they're at two separate vendors, and it's all a bit messy trying to see how many resources I need to upgrade and all that kind of stuff. Like, I think if they just made a one-stop shop at each of the outposts, it's pretty easy.
Yep, I had the same problem. I was doing some stuff with Iron Man and I needed nanotubes. So I'm like, oh, I've got to go over to, I think it's the anthill you get the nanotubes from. Went there, purchased what I thought I needed, and then I've gone to use them and gone, oh, geez, I need 20 more of those, I don't know, something, one of the little purple resources that look like little spiders. I can't remember what they're called. So I had to go all the way back to the helicarrier, get those. And by the time I bought all those, I'm like, yep, cool. Then I went down to my next piece of gear. And if you don't really sit there and sort of tally up exactly the amounts that you need and all that, you just bounce back and forth. And we touched on this in the last video, the loading times between helicarrier, going up to the war table at the helicarrier or the Chimera, going in, then going to Utah Badlands, scrolling down to where it says travel to outpost, clicking that, waiting the loading time, getting there, doing it, then going back to the war table, which is more running around the outpost, back to the war table, click it back to the Chimera, loading screen. I think fast travel would make that so. Already they say it's a fast travel, but I think there should just be a button in your menu that you can just go travel to this outpost, outpost. You should not have to access the war table to, in my opinion. You should just be able to go there at a drop of a hat, depending on where you are. There may be a reason why they can't do that in the coding. It might stuff something up, I don't know, but it would be so much easier. And also, just for the whole point of having one resource store would be so much easier. There's no need to have to go back and forth. Realistically, it just, if that's all you have to do is resources, it's could be so time consuming and it doesn't have to be. It's just well, once again, I know I keep bringing it up, but they're saying the next patch is going to be all quality of life updates. So I don't know how to the extent they're going to do, but that could be one of them.
I don't think the stuff that we're talking about here is going to be as part of the updates. They're going to be the more troubleshooting stuff, like the daily missions, correcting the villain sector bugs and all that kind of stuff like that. That's the stuff that they're fixing. The stuff that we're talking about here.
How about something as simple as just being able to view a loadout? Viewing a skin at the vendors. When you go to the helicarrier and you go to Chastity McBride, who sells you all the skins and all this cool stuff and emotes and all that, and you can't even
preview.
You don't know. You have to sort of jump out of that screen. And if you're not the character that's already there, say you see a cool skin for Iron Man, you're like, oh, I like that skin. I want to look at it. So you go to press triangle to view it. Can't view it in the shop. So you jump out of there. Then you're playing a store. So you have to run all the way back to the hero selection area, which I've forgotten the name of.
Yep.
You have to then switch to that character, which takes a pretty long time to switch between characters. There's a little bit of a process there. You get in, and then from there you have to go into the skin section, scroll down, and press triangle to view it, and go, actually, I like that. I'll go back now and buy it. Like when you could just essentially
have a preview section.
Have a preview.
Yep.
That may be included in the update for quality of life, because that there is annoying and it shouldn't be hard to fix.
Yeah, I agree. The end of mission summary stats, is that something you want to see?
I brought this up, I think, when we were playing the beta. Are you talking in the regards of like who got the most kills and all that? Competitive
kills, damage, deaths, all that kind of stuff, revives. Do you want to see stats at the end of the mission?
I'm going to say yes, but I haven't really thought too much since we first brought this up a while ago. For me, competitiveness between you and your team is a good thing, but then in this kind of game where you're playing as the Avengers, where you're supposed to be playing as a team, essentially, like in any team sport, you don't blame the loss on a teammate or anything. It's a team effort. Sort of having people battle out to try and outdo each other might make the game a little bit. It'll change the whole feel. Because
it'll change the way.
For me, I know
play,
if I went in with you, I'd be like, I want to do more damage than you. And I want at the end, I want to be like, oh, I beat you with damage. That would But by doing that, when we're playing, we're not playing and having fun as a co-op team. We're going in and trying to outdo each other.
Yeah.
Trying not to die is a cool thing though, because I know you've got in the bag there. You essentially most of the time you don't die as much as I do. I'll give you credit there. However, you do have really good builds, I must say, with your Widow and even your Captain America's come a long way from the start. But yeah, look, and that's another thing too. If you go in and you're under geared and you die a lot, or I go in under geared, for instance, and I die a lot, and you've got a really well geared character who may even be once again a couple of power levels above me. Stuff like that will also be
It'll
like,
affect
how would
the
you
board.
calculate it?
Yeah,
It'll
yeah.
affect it all. Like, of course, if you're 5 levels up from me and you've got much better gear, you're going to have more chance of killing more, dying less. So, will it come in? I doubt that will ever happen. Would I like it? Secretly, like deep down inside, yes, because I love that whole competitive side of things. But it'd be broken, I think. I don't think there'd be a way to do it without it sort of being half broken. So ideally, no, it won't. I don't think it's something that the game needs. It's something that I want, but it's not. I don't think it's ever going to be on the card. So we should probably leave it there, I guess. I don't think. What are your thoughts anyway? Before we do brush on, is that something you want?
No, I don't want it. I've seen those in other games, and it's never healthy, and especially in games like this where there's lots of it rely on daily missions, is getting X amount of kills on Dreadbots and X amount of kills on Riot bots and all that kind of stuff. When I can come and do all the damage, and then all you've got to do is waltz over and do the finisher, and then you get the kill for it. Whereas I've done the damage for it, and that will create, especially people trying to do their challenges, do their weekly missions, and all that kind of stuff. I think it'll take away what you were saying is playing your role, and sort of, because if a Dreadbot shows up and you're Iron Man and you're looking after turrets or aerial stuff, you'll rush in there and you'll try and do all the damage and all that kind of stuff, because that's where you can get it. So
trying to steal kills from people and all that, it creates toxicity, people raging at each other. And at the end of the day, as much as we like it or not, it's you're talking Marvel, Disney, and all that whole label.
There's
there.
kids playing.
It's all very much there to be like the Avengers are all team. We're a team and it's a team effort. And if the team wins, we all win. And rather than if a team wins, we all win. But Clint, you got 37 kills more than the guy down there. He's crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's roast this guy. So I don't think it's needed. But I really do want it.
Yeah, you secretly want it. Yeah.
But at the same time, I'll be the one getting trolled because I'm pretty poo at the moment with my Iron Man build. But maybe when I get better gear, then they can implement it.
Then do it in 6 months down the track once I'm fully spec'd.
That's it.
What do you got for us?
Should exotic gear and loot only drop in single player hives? So I'm guessing that in what we mean by that, sorry, because you wrote this one out.
At the moment, it only drops in the single player hive.
Yeah, that's right. Correct.
Yeah, I personally, my take on it is no, it shouldn't only drop in the single player hive, because the game is revolved around the team, online, blah, 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 blah. It should be in all of the elite hives, and it should be in all of the villain sectors, but you must play it on the hardest level, and you must complete the level at 5 stars to even get a chance for it to drop. So none of this bullshit playing it on the easier level and then you get a chance for it to drop, and you've done it with 2 stars, highest level, highest percentage rating, and in those elite sectors. So yeah, villain elite, hive elites is where I think it should drop.
I'm gonna lean more towards your side there, 100%. I'm gonna say that one thing I'm not, before we go any further, one thing I'm not overly fond of is the whole single player hive. There's a proper name for it, I think, too. I'm trying to recall that the last mission you do when you have to, because we were going to play that mission together. I think it was 16 floors or something.
Yeah.
And we were really looking forward to going through 16 floors together, and then only found out that we had to do it solo. I mean, it is a game mode that is good. I don't mind the idea of it. to have that game mode there. But if it's the only place where you're going to get exotic gear, so that means I'm going to be deterred to play on my own to get better gear.
Yeah, you're going to be deterred from playing online, you mean?
Sorry. I'm going to be deterred from playing online and be more focused on playing solo. Sorry, I messed that up there. So yeah, I don't think that to have the best possible gear in the game, you're doing it on your own. To me, that just doesn't make sense. It's a no-brainer. What you said there, having it in specific game modes and having it have to be, I reckon even you have to be power level 150 or at least 145 plus, like minimum. And I think, it'd have to be a certain percentage for it to drop. But I think that the 5-star thing is good too. Like if you die during any of it, I don't think it would be good for them to say if you die once, you don't have a chance at all. I think they should lower the percentage lower than what it already is. But you can, because otherwise you sort of maybe get, say it's like 16 floors or something, you get to the 8th floor and you die. You sort of go, do I just restart it?
Yeah.
Sort of going, well, I'll stick it out because I know there's still a chance. It sort of keeps you going through.
Yeah, but you just know that the percentage drops. Yeah, that's fair enough.
So you sort of can be down yourself like, damn it, I wish I didn't drop because now I'm probably not going to get it. But there's still a chance. But knowing that it's completely over when you do drop, it'll make a lot of people sort of just go, I just did 14 floors of 16 and now I just, I'm turning it off. I've had enough. Like
that's a rage quit waiting to happen right there.
So they've got to be smart in the way they do it. At this point, having it only, is it only in single player hives at the moment though? Is that right? At the moment there is none because it has to be patched. I know that no one's getting it at the moment. But and I'm looking forward to raids and stuff. I think that there should be higher percentages on what they're not calling raids, but what we're calling raids. There's a proper name. So practically raids. If you're going into one and you complete it, I'd rather have a higher chance of getting an exotic gear drop in one of those than doing a
doing a normal mission,
a villain sector or something. If you want it in that.
Well, that kind of brings me to my next question, which I was going to ask is should loot scale depending on the level you complete it on? So higher the level completion and the higher stars you get, the better loot. If you play on the lower levels, then you have lesser chance of getting the loot, and that probably comes more down to the chance of getting legendaries. So sort of challenge 3 and below, you get purples, but the lower you go, the less chance you get of getting the purples. And then if you play on challenge 4 and you play on that harder level, then that's when you have the chance of getting the legendaries and the exotics.
100%, because that's the big problem that we're having with.
That's the problem now at the moment. Yeah,
it's once again they probably will fix that, and it'd be good if they went down the same track as what we're thinking there though, because you want to be rewarded for playing on high difficulties. At the moment, I don't like playing on high difficulties because, to be completely honest, you love it. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy the challenge, but missions just take almost more than double the amount of time to complete. And you're getting the same gear at the moment as what you get if I went and played it on difficulty level 1 and I went in and soloed it. I have it done in 5 minutes and get all my gear, rinse and repeat. Good way of power leveling and all those little hacks that you can do at the moment. Whereas when we jump on, I get my ass kicked and it makes me feel like crap, and I got to sit through an hour of it only to get the same gear I could have had 10 times over. Playing on my own, doing it in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So that's sort of not balanced and not correctly scaled at the moment. So 100%, I want to be able to get on and play at harder levels and know the reward is there, because it's like going to the gym and knowing that you can work out as hard as you want to work out, but you're not gonna get any bigger. Or you're going to stay the same size. You can't go any bigger. Or as a guy over there that's doing half the amount of work and getting the same rewards. So it's sort of,
All right. A couple of quick last ones. Should legendaries give more resources when you're dismantling them?
They give fairly good ones at the moment, but I won't say no to free resources. The more the better.
But the blues go down. So if you got a blue one, the resources go down. You get legendaries, they go up. So you're happy for that to balance out. Yeah, I could take that one. So one last thing I want to touch on, and this is probably something that they desperately need or should have, is better map managing. So somewhere, we either have numbers at the top of the screen so we can communicate where we're going to go, or an overall view of the map area where we can put a pin and we can stick a location where we all know where we're going to go. So
Yep.
That's something that they need urgently, I think. Same as loadouts.
Yes, we did touch on this through a couple of games early on. It got really annoying when, as it is at the moment already, sometimes I can't see your marker on the screen. I'll see Hulk and I'll see whoever else we're in the party, but say you're playing Widow, your marker doesn't come up. So you'll be like, I'm going over here, and I'm like, where's over here? I don't know where you are. That's a bug. That'll get fixed out. But essentially what we want is for you to call out maybe a compass, even very similar to when you're in the vaults where it shows you that little compass in the same sort of area of the screen. Just go, I'm heading northwest along the Rocky Mountains. So then I can look out to the northwest on the map and go, yep, cool, I know what direction you're in.
Yep.
You can call out, there's a bunch of enemies in southeast, and a little compass, I think, or even, like you said, a dial at the top that sort of has like just a meter that moves from left to right, and it will have all the characters sort of along there. So you can say Hulk's over and I'll just head over toward that direction, or Cap's over that direction. Yes, 100%. That is such a minor thing. I would have thought the game would have had, just as you thought loadouts would be there already. I would think that would be there. So hopefully the devs are listening to that. Okay, so time at the end of the mission to collect the loot. That's the next topic, and the last one.
Yes, absolutely, yes. 100 times over, yes. If the loot drops, you get at least like a 30-second countdown to run around and pick it up. Can't be that hard.
Yeah, because there's been times where we found that a purple item or a gold item will drop at the end of the map especially when you're beating a villain like a Taskmaster, and gear drops, and you hear that little mission complete thing come up on the screen, and you hear Jarvis saying, well done, team, and you're like, oh, I want to go over and pick up the gear, and then it'll kick you into the loading screen, and you'll pick up gear from your dailies you've done or whatever mission completion items you get, but you don't know if you're actually getting what's on the floor that you haven't collected. So, I reckon they should give a countdown of at least 30 seconds at the end of the map. You can skip through it, like you can say to your party, "Have you got everything?" Yep, cool, and then just skip it. But just give people time, like the vaults at the end. You get to go in, open up all the chests, and then you can go out and you can pick up any items that are left behind, go back to the vault and click finish.
Push that terminal,
push the terminal. So yes, 100%, because you're missing out on free gear otherwise, and especially when you're beating a villain. Why would you fight a villain for the final drop?
And the gear's right there, you can't get it.
Imagine it was an exotic item that just dropped off the boss, and then all of a sudden it said, mission complete, well done, and kicked you out. Like that.
You'd be, that's a broken TV right there.
I'd be calling Samsung saying, is my TV still under warranty?
Yeah.
And for what? A PlayStation controller sort of went through it. Guys, I think that's everything.
That's it. That's all we've got at the moment. But hey, guys, put in the comments what you want to see. Any suggestions? We'll do another video of these. Why not? We'll talk about your suggestions as well. We'll talk about them in the comments. If you want, join us on the socials. Hit us up over there. Come and join in all the conversations and tell us what you want to see. Anything from features to characters. We'll be more than happy to entertain it. We're big fat nerds, so we'll love all that stuff. We'll be back soon with another video. We're going to do a dream team. We're going to do a roster. We're going to do our own party. Ash is going to pick 4. I'm going to pick 4, and we're going to see what we come back with. And I'm going to pick 4. Four, mate. Four different characters, but it's going to be anyone from the MCU. Sorry, not the MCU. It's going to be anyone from the Marvel universe. Throughout comic book history, movie history, TV show history. If it's been in the Marvel universe, it's fair game. We're going to talk about why we want that person, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it, and probably give each other a bit of shit along the way. But until then, guys, it's been grand. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.